Testing, testing, one, two, three. Hello, everyone. My name is Stardust Racers Ryan, and welcome to my first video in a while. I really didn't know what kind of a video I wanted to make up until now, but I saw a video that was made by um Collywood Studios, who I've met in real life, by the way. I actually saw him while working at Silver Dollar City. Really awesome guy, really nice guy. So shout outs to Collywood Studios. He's amazing. He made a video talking about what rides from Six Flags America would and wouldn't be getting relocated. So I thought I'd take inspiration from that and make a list of the other Six Flags Entertainment Corporation park that's closing, which is California's Great America. We will be saying goodbye to this park this year, so yeah. Anyways, so with that, I decided that I would be making a going through the rides and talking about which ones I think will and which ones I think won't be relocated. Do I think there's any chance that the park will be saved? I gotta be honest, no. I think that um the park is most likely just gonna wind up being demolished. I mean, it's really is unfortunate. Because I do like California's Great America a lot. I went there in 2023, planning on going again next year for the final season. It really is a great park, and they have such an underrated coaster lineup. But unfortunately, I just don't think that. I think that since a sale has already happened, I just don't see them or really anyone wanting to come in and save this park. So it's unfortunate, but the good news is we might be seeing some rides get moved. So let's go through the list and talk about which rides I think will and will not be getting moved. So I have five different tiers: 100% relocated, likely relocation, 50/50, unlikely to be relocated, and scrapped and used for parts. So, yeah, let's get right into this. So, starting up, we have uh, the Barney Oldfield's Redwood Rally antique car ride. It opened with the park in 1976. Unfortunately, I think this is for sure getting scrapped, which really is unfortunate because this is an opening day ride. These antique car rides are a lot of fun. I rode the one at Kings Island and the one at Worlds of Fun. I really enjoy these rides, but unfortunately, like it's I think the cars will probably be used for other antique car rides in the chain, but it's just not practical to take a ride by its layout and move it somewhere else. I just don't see it happening. So I bet they for sure scrap it and then use the parts elsewhere. Following this, we have Berserker, which is the Schwarzkopf buy-in curve. It's actually the last Schwarzkopf buy-in curve left in operation. There used to be one at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and unfortunately, because this is the last of its kind, I'm also going to put this one in getting scrapped. It really is unfortunate because again, this is going to be a model that's going extinct, and these rides are a lot of fun, but I just don't see them use sending this to another park. I mean, again, it's the last of its kind, and it's probably towards the end of its service life anyway, so it's not like they can just pick it up and move it somewhere else. So I think it is for sure getting scrapped. Next up, we have the Carousel Columbia. This is the big carousel that you see at the front entrance. I'm going to give this one a 50/50, not for any particular reason. If this gets relocated, I don't think it's going to be going to a Six Flags park because I really don't know what park would even want this. Because if I'm not mistaken, pretty much every park in the Six Flags chain has a carousel just like this. And so if it gets sold, I think it would probably go to a different park. So which unfortunately which makes me think that yeah, I just don't know if this is getting relocated or not. Not again, not for any real reason. I mean, there's not really a reason to scrap it, but I just don't know where it would end up. So that's why I'm going to put it in 50/50. Next up we have the Celebration Swings, which is the Wave Swinger. I'm gonna put this in likely to be relocated because we just saw the one at King's or not, the one from Six Flags America get sent up to Six Flags Great Adventure, and these Wave Swingers are very popular rides. And you see them at a lot of these parks. So I think that this is probably going to get moved to a park that could use a wave swinger like this. I can't really think of any parks off the top of my head that could use one, but I'm sure they could. This would wound up getting sent somewhere. I mean, it's also not that old too. This opened back in 2001, so they'll probably find a new home for this. Next up, you have what the heck is this ride called? I'm going through the wiki so I can see what these ride names are. Um, Centrifuge. Okay, that's the ride. So we have Centrifuge, which is a Schwarzkopf centrifuge. I'm gonna put this one in unlikely to be relocated. N- I mean, I've never really seen this kind of ride at a different park, so I don't know where it could go. I mean, s- do I think it's necessarily going to get scrapped? Not really, but I don't know where this could potentially end up. I mean, there's a lot of places it theoretically could. So I'm not 100% certain on this one. So I'm just going to put an unlikely to be moved. Again, not for any particular reason, but yeah. Next up, you have the Kitty Carousel. This is, hang on, what is this ride's name? Character Carousel. I think that's the name of it. I'll put this in 50-50 as well for the same reason as Carousel Columbia. Not for any particular reason, but I just don't know. It they could probably sell this just fine. It's just I just don't know where it would go. That's the main thing. You'll find that with a lot of these rides where they there's not really a reason why they would get scrapped, but I also don't know where they would potentially end up. Next up, you have Delirium, which is the park's frisbee ride. And this one's a bit of an interesting one because it's one of the older Frisbee models, so it's not that newer Frisbee, but this is a pretty popular ride, and from what I've seen, it's in pretty good condition, so I could see this getting relocated. Where could it end up? I don't know, but I'm sure there's some park that could use Delirium. Next up, we have the Falcon's Flight, I believe is the name of it. It's the Sky Buckets. Again, I completely forgot the name of it. But unfortunately, yeah, regardless of what this ride's name is, I think it's getting scrapped. I mean, we've seen a lot of these Sky Buckets get taken out recently. We just said goodbye to the one at Six Flags Great Adventure, and we just said goodbye to and a lot of these sky buckets have been getting taken out recently, and it is pretty difficult to relocate these rides. So personally, I don't think this one's gonna go anywhere. So I'm gonna put it in scrap/use for parts. Next up, we have Demon, the park's aero looping coaster, and the first coaster I'm gonna talk about. I gotta be honest, Demon is definitely done, which is unfortunate because I do actually really like it. I think it's a very fun aero looper. But I mean, the ride's over 50 years old, and on top of that, these aero loopers have been getting ripped out left and right. So I really don't know. So no one would even want it. And so my guess is that they just scrap it and then send the trains over to Six Flags Great America for their Demon. So I think that's more likely to happen, unfortunately. Next up, you have Drop Tower, which is the Intamin Drop Tower. I'm gonna put this in. Yeah, I think this is getting scrapped. We've seen the demise of two Intamin Drop Towers recently. We saw the Carowinds just said goodbye to theirs. Six Flags America closed down, and that one's most definitely not getting relocated. And from what I've seen, this ride has a lot of downtime, so I just don't think they would potentially. So I really don't know with this ride. I think it's most likely will end up getting just torn down, thrown away, maybe used for parts to keep some of the other drop towers going in the chain. But as for this one, I think it's most definitely done. Next up, we have Flight Deck, the park's B&M inverted coaster. This is one of the best inverted coasters that I've ridden, and this is a really tricky one as to whether or not it's going to get moved or not. So the thing going against it, in my opinion, is the fact that it is old. The ride does seem to be in pretty good condition, and I do think this would be a really good fit at King's Dominion personally. Like King's Dominion would be an amazing landing spot for this ride. They could easily put it on the Anaconda plot of land, put it in Lake Charles, so that way, and I think it would look really pretty over there. But the ride is over 30 years old, and on top of that, it does have a bit of an awkward layout. The ride was literally made for that terrain, so it's a bit tricky. So I think on one hand, it could get moved, but given its age and the fact that it's hard to move, makes me think that the ride is probably going to be done for. Like, I think I would be more surprised if it was relocated. So, I mean, if they see the value in relocating it, I think it'll probably happen, but most likely I think they're just going to scrap it and then send the trains over to Magic Mountain for Batman. So, I'm going to put it in unlikely to be relocated. Not 100%, but I think this ride is most definitely not going to find this ride will most likely not find a new home. Next up, we have the Camp Bus, or I forgot which ones this is called, but it's a Zamperla Wacky Bus. Not it's a clone of the one that used to be at Knott's Berry Farm. Magic Mountain has one. I'm gonna put this in unlikely to be relocated, and the main reason is because of the fact that we actually recently saw the one at Knott's Berry Farm get removed, and that one was most definitely torn down and not saved. So that makes me think that maybe they don't want these rides. Although Magic Mountain is keeping theirs, so maybe it could. I'm not going to put it in definitive scrapped, but I don't think it's super likely that this finds a new home. Next up on the list, we have the Larson Flying Scooters. I don't know the name of this one, but I'm going to put this one in 100% being relocated. These rides are super popular just about everywhere they go. From my understanding, this is a relatively new ride. Um, Let me take a look and find out where the name of it real fast. Yeah, Flying Eagles, that's the name of it. It's a bit of an older model, but even then, these rides it's still probably in great condition. They'll probably find a new home for this. I could even see Magic Mountain potentially getting this or Discovery Kingdom. They'll find a new home for this. Like, mark my words, Six Flags Discovery Kingdom will benefit somehow from this. So for Gold Striker, I'm gonna save Gold Striker for last because that's definitely the one I've got the most to talk about. All right, so next up we have the Great Skate, which is a skyscraper. It's actually a clone of the one that's on the Stratosphere. I'm gonna put this in likely to be relocated. Actually, fun fact: this ride actually used to be at Knott's Berry Farm, but it was relocated to California's Great America. So if they moved it once, I think they can move it again. Plus, it's not that old of a ride, so they'll probably find a new home for this. Next up, you have the Kitty bumper cars. I'll put this and the regular bumper cars in the same tier, and that is scrapped slash used for parts. I really don't know what part could use these rides. I mean, the bumper cars will probably get saved and moved to a different themselves will probably be used for parts, but like picking up the actual ride and moving it to a different park, I'm not seeing it. So I think these will most definitely be getting scrapped. Next up, you have the Kitty Drop Tower. I'm gonna put this in likely to be relocated. I mean, again, not for any huge particular reason, but I think this is such a small footprint that they could probably find a new home for it somewhere. Uh, After that, you have the Scrambler. Again, likely to be relocated. I really don't know. Actually, bump it down to 50-50, not for any particular reason, but again, I don't know. I really don't know where this could potentially end up. I'm sure they could find a home for it somewhere, but um, most parks already have a Scrambler. Although, if they really wanted to, they could send it to Magic Mountain so they can get another Scrambler because they just lost theirs. So it's definitely possible. Next up, you have Lucy's Krabby Cabbies, one of the kiddie coasters. I'm going to put this in 100% being relocated. This is not a hard ride to maintain whatsoever. It's small. You can fit it just about anywhere. A lot of parks that, and it could easily fit at a park that could use a new kiddie coaster or another kiddie coaster, or don't have a kiddie coaster. So I think this will probably get moved. I think this is most definitely getting moved. I would definitely be shocked if it was just torn down. It really wouldn't make sense to, in my opinion. Mass Effect, I'm honestly surprised this ride lasted as long as it did. This is most definitely being done. If I'm not mistaken, this is actually the last 40 feeder in the Six Flags chain. So I just don't see this one getting moved. I think it's going to stay right where it's at, and they're just going to scrap it, which really does suck because it is a pretty cool ride. But yeah. And this next one's going to sting because this is one of my favorite rides at the park, and that's Orbit. Unfortunately, I think this ride is most definitely a goner. The one it's um this ride is over 50 years old. It's one of the last Schwarzkopf Enterprises out there. I rode this and I was so shocked at just how good it was. It's such a fun ride. Super, super awesome. Super, super fun. One of the best flat rides I've ever ridden personally, but I just don't see another park wanting this. I mean, Carowinds just got rid of theirs, and on top of that, it's made by Schwarzkopf, which is a defunct manufacturer. So I really don't think this is getting moved whatsoever. I think it's going to, unfortunately, just be used for parts for one of the enterprises that are left in the chain, and that'll be it. Next up, we have Patriot, which is the park's B&M Flolis coaster, formerly known as Vortex, a B&M stand-up, now the oldest operating B&M in America. And I gotta be honest, I think this thing's getting scrapped. I don't think there's any chance Patriot will get moved to a different park because, for one, the coaster is gonna be 37 years old by the time the park closes. And I really don't know if any park would want a ride that's over 37 years old. Like it just wouldn't really make sense in my opinion. And on top, I mean, I think the trains will most definitely be moved. I could honestly see them taking the trains and sending them to one of the stand-ups that haven't been converted yet, like Georgia Scorcher or Riddler's Revenge. Well, maybe not Riddler's Revenge because it's Scream, but Georgia Scorcher or Vortex. I could honestly see that happening. So unfortunately, I think this thing's gonna stay right where it's at, and they're just gonna scrap this thing. Next up, you have Peanuts 500, I believe is what it's called. I think this thing will probably get moved somewhere. Let me just. I'll put unlikely. I mean, I'm not going to give it 100% chance, but I think this will most. It's more than likely going to find a new home, mostly because it's small, probably really easy to move. I know I've seen a few Cedar Fair parks add these recently, so I'm sure a park that doesn't have a ride like this would probably want it. So I'm going to give it a likely relocation. I really don't know why anyone wouldn't want it personally. Hmm. Okay, moving on. You have so what's this ride? Hang on, I'm trying to find it because I don't see it. Peanuts Pirates. Which is a Kitty Husk breakdance. Okay, that's what the name of it. I'm gonna put this in 50-50, not for any particular reason, but mostly because a I haven't really seen this ride get set be at many other parks, so I don't really know who would want it, but I do think it's but I'm definitely not gonna see it get scrapped. So it probably will get moved. Again, I just don't know where it would end up. So I'll put it in 50-50. Psycho Mouse, which is the park's Arrow Wild Mouse, I could see this getting relocated. It is a Aerodynamics is defunct, but from my understanding, these Wild Mouse coasters are pretty reliable that they made. This one's not that old. It's only a couple of years old, and on top of that, Rick or Raging Cajun was a Reverchon spinner, and that was moved to a different park. So I could see this one most definitely getting moved. I don't know where specifically it could end up, but I'm sure they'd find some use for it. I definitely would be more surprised if it was scrapped. Next up on the list, we have Railblazer, which is the park's RMC Raptor. Now, prior to my 2023 visit, I think Railblazer would have been at 100% relocated, but I'm going to bump it down actually to a likely relocation. And that's just because of the fact that this ride has a lot of problems. This is without a doubt the most unreliable coaster at California's Great America. It breaks down all the time. It has a ton of issues, and it was the prototype Raptor. So if this thing ends up getting relocated, I need to see that Six Flags is going to be willing to invest the money to keep it going because it's definitely going to need some work if it's going to get popped up at another park. Again, I'm still going to put in likely just because of how new it is. I mean, it's less than 10 years old. It's super popular, the best coaster in the park, one of the best coasters in the world. So it probably will, but I'm just going to need to see that they're willing to put some money into this ride. Next up, we have Sally's Love Buggies, which is a small little kiddie ride. I'm going to put it in 50-50. I mean, not for any particular reason. I know I've said that a lot, but I really, but again, I don't know where this could end up. I'm sure they'd find some use for it, but there's a lot better kiddie rides out there, so I don't know if they'd see the value in moving this. Same thing goes for their kiddie wave swinger. Not for putting this here, not for any special reason. I know Six Flags St. Louis has a clone of this. Silver Dollar City has a clone of this. It's a kiddie wave swinger ride. They would probably find a use for this ride, but I don't know where. I just don't know where it could potentially end up. But if they see the value in relocating it, then by all means, go right ahead. And then we have two more these two kitty flat rides. I think this is kind of like a Dumbo spinner, if I'm not mistaken. One of them Snoopy space buggies. Hang on, give me a minute. I'm trying to figure out which one is which, so I don't get this. Sorry, I should have done my research before I did this. Let me see. Okay, that's the yellow one. Okay. Snoopy Space Buggies, I think this is 100% being relocated because it is a pretty new ride. It opened in the mid 2010s. So any park that could use another kiddie expansion, I think would probably benefit from having a ride like this. Um as for this other ride, I'm going to put it in 50-50. Not for any special particular reason, I guess. Again, well, I mean, it's very small and they have the ride, so I'll put it here. Why not? I don't know. It's not the rides you guys care about. So, like, all the kiddie rides could get scrapped, and I don't think anyone would really care too much. I'm putting too much effort into them. I apologize. I'm just trying to think. Okay. Next up, we have the Sky Tower. I think this is for sure getting scrapped. A lot of these Sky Towers have been getting removed recently. The one at Cedar Point is gone. The one at Knott's Berry Farm's been having a lot of problems recently. They did get it fixed and it's running like it's brand new, so that's good. But again, I just don't know. Actually picking one up and moving it, I just don't think it's possible. I think parks would much rather have like a wind seeker, if you know what I mean. So I bet they just scrap this and then send the parts over to Knott's Berry Farm to keep it going, to keep that ride going. Next up on the list, we have Grizzly. Grizzly is most definitely done. This ride is for sure not getting relocated. If you're going to relocate a wooden roller coaster, it's got to be for a good reason. And Grizzly is really not a good reason at all. It is an awful wooden roller coaster, one of the worst coasters I've ever ridden. So, yeah, I just don't. There's no way this is getting saved. Absolute 0% chance this ride gets moved. Next up, we have the Great Pumpkin Patch, which is I guess kind of like a kitty. I don't really know what it is, but it's some sort of another kitty ride. I'll put it in likely. It's an older one, but I'm sure they'd find some use for it somewhere. Next up, we have Tiki Twirl, which is the park's Zamperla Disco. I'll put it in likely to be relocated. I mean, Zamperla Discos have been getting removed recently from what I've seen, but this is a newer one opening back in 2006. So I'm sure they'd find some park that could use a decent flat ride like this. So I'll put it in likely to be relocated. I can honestly see Magic Mountain or Discovery Kingdom getting this ride. Next up, you have Woodstock Express, one of the park's kiddie coasters. I'm gonna put it in unlikely to be relocated. This is a really old and weird kiddie coaster. It was built by Intamin in the 80s. I don't know what park would even want this. There's much better and newer kiddie coasters out there. So I think this one's most definitely. I just don't think it's. Do I think it's going to be definitively scrapped? Not necessarily. I could see it getting sold off, but I just don't know what park would even want a ride like this. So I'm going to put it in unlikely to be relocated. Next up, we have Gold Striker, which is the park's GCI wooden roller coaster. And this is by far one of the really tricky ones because on one hand, this ride is not very old at all. It opened back in 2013, so it's a pretty new GCI. But the issue is that this ride is big, and on top of that, it's so intertwined with itself that I just really don't know what park would even want this. I really don't. I mean, it would probably cost a lot to relocate it, probably more than it's worth, unfortunately. And while Gold Striker is admittedly a really good ride, I love it. I don't love it as much as other enthusiasts do, but I do. It is still one of the better wooden coasters that I've ridden. One of the best coasters in California, period. Unfortunately, I think Gold Striker is getting scrapped. I really just don't think there is a way they can realistically save this ride. Like at that it's like it would just cost way too much to relocate it, and on top of that, they would just be better off buying another GCI. So my guess is that they scrap it and then they send the trains over to Knott's Berry Farm to be used as parts for Ghost Rider and then just call it a day. So that is going to do it for this video. As you can see, I think that unfortunately most of the big rides will be getting torn down and used for parts. I think Railblazer, Psycho Mouse have the best chance of the coasters of being moved. Oh, and Lucy's Krabby Cabbies. Blight Deck and Woodstock Express, maybe, but I don't see it. And I think Demon, Patriot, Grizzly, Gold Striker are most definitely done, which is unfortunate, but I think that that's just how it is. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm sorry it was a bit of a mess. This was kind of a last minute video that I wanted to make. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and I will see you guys later. Twisted Coaster Fan, out. Or Stardust Racers Ryan, out. Gosh, I'm tired.